Peace and blessings, family. This is Brother Sharif with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour Power Sharif Hamid on YouTube, subscribe and share so we can continue to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. As always, in the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon the earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and then another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God, for he's the exalted, all-powerful, all-wise. We confide in no other in our time of need, and we praise no other in our good fortune. He is one. So again, this is Brother Sharif with the Hour of Power. Subscribe and share. Before I get started tonight, I want to apologize to my good brother and his beautiful wife, Pastor Matthew Castillo, and his wife, First Lady Vanessa Castillo. He is the pastor at a local church here. And for the last 2 weeks, this good brother and his wife have came on my show, The Hour of Power. And for some strange reason, we've been having internet connection problems, and I haven't been able to post the video on my Facebook page. It comes on the local channel 16, but it won't post on Facebook. And 95% of the people who follow and watch me watch the Hour of Power on Wednesday via Facebook Live. And I even went to the studio last week and talked with the head producer there to fix these problems. But the other day, still had the issues with the internet connection. So once again, I'll be going back there to speak with this man to see why this problem persists. But I just want to apologize to him and his wife. They've been very, very patient. They're very busy. They run a church. They do food and clothing drives. And they're doing a lot of great things. And for him to come there 2 weeks in a row and I have this supposed internet problem is very discouraging. But they say when you are trying to do and doing good things that, Satan, whatever your perception is of that, whether he's Satan in the flesh or a spirit or a combination of the both, comes through to disrupt good things. So say prayers for me and my family. I've really been going through a lot with my health and some personal issues, but I'm doing the best I can to push through this. And I just ask the people who's been following me to keep believing in me and keep praying for me as I get through these turbulent times. My wife Takia, she's been helping me out. She has a table talk in Huntsville, Maryland, this Saturday, the 26th at 4 p.m. I think she'll post it on this feed for those who want to participate. So that's this Saturday, the 26th at 4 p.m. in Huntsville, Maryland. Okay. Also, the Hour of Power is sponsoring a return trip to the Blacks and Wax Museum Saturday, February the 16th. We are meeting at Vonnie Grimes Gym at 10:30 a.m. and then we're going to depart to the Blacks and Wax Museum, which is at 1601 East North Avenue. We're asking everyone to arrive at 12 p.m. so I can do the best I can to get us in at a group rate. The cost will be between $10.50 and $15 to get in. So again, that's Saturday, February 16th, the crowning moment of Black History Month. We're going to try to get everyone in at a group discount rate. And if you are viewing right now, please hit the share button and then watch party. Hit the share button, which should be in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, and then hit watch party. What that does is bring more viewers and your viewers into this timely message. So hit watch party and then, hit share button, then hit watch party to bring more viewers in. If you can do that right now, anyone who is viewing. So again, one more time, Saturday, February 16th, the crowning moment of Black History Month. We're going to meet at Vonnie Grimes Gym, those who are in the local area, and then we're going to depart at 10:30. And then anyone else, because it's supposed to be 6 cities, if not more, participating. Durham, North Carolina, Harrisburg, Lancaster, Philly, York, and Baltimore is supposed to participate in this historic event. They will be responsible for getting themselves there. I already got some donations, God willing, to get us in. I'm not going to say the person's name because they go by a different name on Facebook. On Facebook, they go by Gypsy Flair. That person made a donation. Salute to you, Queen. And our good sister Erica Manley today made a donation. So I can get a few children already in for free because of those 2 queens. So again, our good sister Erica Manley, she donated today. And another queen that goes by the name of Gypsy Flair, I'm not going to say her regular name, made a donation. So now we can get a few students and maybe some adults in for free. Saturday, February 16th, 1601 North Avenue at the Blacks and Wax Museum, the crowning moment of Black History Month. Be there at 12 o'clock sharp so I can get as many of us in for a group discount rate, and a restaurant by the name of the Grub Factory will supply food there at a reasonable cost. I'll have more details on that. And again, say some prayers for your brother. I'm really struggling to get through this message, but I'm doing the best that I can. So this message is called Dropping Atomic Bombs. Dropping atomic bombs. Last week, I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news. It's not really bad news. It's just knowledge. Last week, many of us nationwide was celebrating the birthday and the commemoration of Dr. King. Actually, his birthday is January the 15th, but the national holiday that we commemorate our brother was last Monday, January the 21st. Many people were commemorating this man, and he deserves it. But we have been under the guise and the deception of how our brother was taken from us. So let's start with that. And before I get started, I always bring my references. And again, hit the share button and watch party if you already have it. Share button, watch party, so we can bring more people in. You ain't going to hear this too many places. Get this book, The FBI War on Tupac and Black Leaders. The FBI War on Tupac and Black Leaders. This is a 12-year study by this man by the name of John Potash. I actually talked to the author of this book many years ago when I used to do radio interviews in Durham, North Carolina. It's a white man, John Potash. I actually talked to him via radio. In this book, he talks about how Martin Luther King was actually killed. He gives part of it, and I'm going to give you the other part of it. I talked about it, and you can look it up at this community center in Durham, North Carolina called, I'm calling you out, W.D. Hill Center. I used to do youth groups there, and I was invited there several times to do public speaking on Martin Luther King Day in Durham, North Carolina. It's called W.D. Hill Center. They actually banned me from speaking there, not because I committed any crime, not because I was doing anything inappropriate with youth, but because I started talking about what really happened to Dr. King at that community center. Some demons went to downtown Durham and reported me and banned me from doing any public speaking at W.D. Hill Center. It is documented. Anyway, I started speaking on what happened to Dr. King because we've been lied to and said that he was standing up on the second floor of Lorraine Motel, April 4th, 1968. That's true. And he was with Abernathy, Samuel Kiles, and Messy Jesse. and some sniper from some other building, right, shot him in the head, and he collapsed and he died there on the spot. Lies, lies, lies. Or as my wife say, as the lies they tell. That is false, because number one, if you look at his autopsy, he had gunshot wounds here and in his groin. How someone shoot from up high and you got gunshot wounds up under your neck and in your groin? The gunshots came from the first floor by a Memphis Police Department police officer. Okay? And Messy Jesse, yeah, I said it, Messy Jesse rearranged Martin Luther King's room. He was supposed to be on the first floor, but he changed it to the second floor so they could have that clean shot at him. You can look it up on YouTube via Dick Gregory, may he rest in peace. Reverend Samuel Cowles, who was there with him, slipped in a speech in 1980 and said, I stepped to the side so they can have a clear shot at him. Look it up. Look at the murder of Martin Luther King on Dick Gregory's page on YouTube. And he shows how this Reverend Samuel Cowles, who was there with Martin Luther King on the second floor, said, I stepped to the side so they can have a clear shot at him. A black cab driver in Memphis saw this Memphis Police Department cop shoot Martin Luther King from the first floor. He went downtown. He went downtown to report it, and then he came up missing and dead. So that's number one. All that pointing up in the sky into another building, that's a bunch of crap. Because the autopsy shows that he had gunshot wounds under his neck and in his groin. Wasn't no shots from up there. That's number one. And again, when I talked about this book in Durham, North Carolina, at W.D. Hill Center, they banned me from speaking there. Because certain community members invited me there to speak, and I spoke on it, and someone went downtown and reported me and stopped me from speaking there. Now, recently, a man, listen to me and listen to me good on this, a man by the name of William Pepper, who he recently came out with this. He is the family attorney and a civil rights attorney. He came out with a book called A Plot to Kill Dr. King, and he also came out with a book called Order to Kill in 2003. He actually has 3 books. Again, his name is William Pepper. Write this down before they take it down. William Pepper is the family attorney for Dr. King. And he has 2 other books, but his most recent book is A Plan to Kill King. He said, listen to me good on this. You may not hear this nowhere else. William Pepper said that a man by the name of Johnston Shelby told him that his mother, which her name is Lua Shelby, was the surgical nurse where Dr. King was taken after he got shot at St. Joseph's Hospital. Dr. King was alive when they took him there. He was alive when they took him there to St. Joseph's Hospital. Dr. King was alive. Lua Shelby, the surgical nurse, said that she was working and other doctors were working on Dr. King to revive him. A doctor, the chief doctor at that time by the name of Breen Bland, Dr. Breen Bland came, they was in the emergency room, came rushing in the room with 2 men with dark suits on and said, get the hell out of the room. Let that nigger die. Talking about Dr. King. He was on the bed in the emergency room. And Dr. Breen Bland, I'm calling him out, came in the emergency room and said, let that nigger die. Everyone out the room. The nurse, the surgical nurse, Lua Shelby stepped out of the room. Everyone got out of the room, but she stood at the door. The only ones in the room now was Dr. Breen Bland and these two men in these dark suits. The nurse, Lua Shelby, said she could hear them going, excuse me, but they were bringing up saliva, and they start spitting on Dr. King. And they said, "You're going to die tonight." He was still alive. She said she saw Dr. Breen Bland take a pillow and smother and suffocate Dr. King. And that's how he died. Not from no gunshot, from no up top. Because number one, going back, if you're just tuning in, the shots came from the first floor, in his neck and in his groin, not from up top. Reverend Samuel Kyle stepped to the side. If you go back to Dick Gregory, may he rest in peace, so they could have a clear shot. Jesse Jackson was involved. He switched his room so they would be on the second floor. All right. When Dr. King was taken to St. Joseph's Hospital there in Memphis, he was still alive. William Pepper, the family attorney who wrote the book, The Plot to Kill King, he said he talked to a Memphis gang member by the name of Russell Atkins. He died a year before King was assassinated. He said he had got orders to kill King. And this Dr. Breen Bland said, "If the nigger don't die, make sure you bring him to St. Joseph's Hospital and we'll finish him off." This is a Memphis gang member who talked to William Pepper, who came out with the 3 books, the latest book, A Plot to Kill King. He told William Pepper that the hit was been out on Dr. King. And if he didn't die on the spot there at Lorraine Motel, that Dr. Breen Bland said, bring him to, he's not to go to any other hospital but St. Joseph's Hospital. So again, Johnston Shelby told William Pepper this, the family attorney this, word by word. But his mother, Lua Shelby, was the surgical nurse that Dr. King was brought to in the emergency room. They were working on Dr. King to revive him from the almost fatal gunshot wounds that he received. They were working on him. Dr. Breen Bland and 2 men in suits came in and said, "Get the hell out of here. Let that nigger die." They ordered everyone out the room, but she stood at the door. She stood at the door and heard them go and started spitting on Dr. King and said, "You're going to die tonight." They took a pillow and smothered and suffocated Dr. King, and that's how he really died. Hell, I'm going to die anyway. I might as well die telling the truth. Yeah, I'm putting it out there. Spread this message. Save this message. Share this message before they take it down. Dr. King wasn't shot on no roof at no Lorraine Motel. He was smothered to death, suffocated to death by Dr. Breen Bland, according to the book by William Pepper that just came out called A Plot to Kill King. That's how he died. And he wasn't shot from no, what's the name of that man who they pinned it? He was a patsy. He was a pawn. The man, or James Earl Ray. He ain't shoot no Dr. King. That was a whole setup. It was a setup. He was shot by a Memphis Police Department cop from the first floor, here and in his groin. And Jesse Jackson and Samuel Cowles and the rest of them buffoons and clowns was ordered by the CIA to point up there to make everyone believe for all these decades that some sniper shot him from up there. And they just started pointing. Yeah, Messy Jesse, we know what you did. Go to YouTube and look up the murder of MLK and you will see our brother Dick Gregory laying it out there, and how Reverend Samuel Cowles slipped in an interview in 1980 and said, I stepped to the side so they could have a clear shot. That's how he died. He was smothered in St. Joseph's Hospital, suffocated to death by a doctor by the name of Breen Bland. And Lua Shelby, the surgical nurse, saw the whole thing, and it was reported through her son, Johnston Shelby, to the family attorney, William Pepper. You can look it up in the book, Plot to Kill King, and he has another book, Orders to Kill, and then he has another book, I don't remember the name of that book. So actually he has 3 books, this family attorney. You can Google it. Just Google MLK smothered at St. Joseph's Hospital and it'll all come up. Smothered our brother. Suffocated him in the hospital. People who's supposed to be bringing him back to life. They killed him, smothered him, suffocated him in the hospital. You heard it firsthand from the Hour of Power, as sick as I am right now. But I'm here to deliver truth. Just keep believing in me, no matter what you hear. World Starr hip hop is destroying black youth. I said it. World Starr hip hop is destroying black youth. Just yesterday in Harrisburg, the York High Bearcats had a basketball game with Harrisburg. And after the game, matter of fact, they moved the game to 5 o'clock to distract fighting, had more security up there, and they still outside fighting. No security outside. They fighting. Youth fighting after the game. My good brother Ed Rice told me he was right there. He said he had to dart to his car because the youth were fighting each other online, talking about how they were going to get it in. And I don't know why York High will go up there knowing they're outnumbered. Why are we fighting? And then the youth were recording it so they could send these fighting videos, I guess, to World Starr Hip Hop. This buffooning and clowning detrimental website started in 2005 by this man by the name of Lee D-Knot. I believe he was just killed or something a couple months ago. But this World Starr Hip Hop has a whole website that gets over 500,000 plus views a day with mostly light pornographic videos, sex acts, but mostly now fighting. Black youth fighting. 500,000 views plus a day. A website designed by Satan himself to destroy the minds of black youth. And some adults even share it. I see it all over my timeline and all over Facebook. Adults, yes, I'm talking about you, sharing videos of our youth fighting. Won't share a video of the Hour of Power. Won't share a video of my good sister Tanya Morgan or my wife or my brother Matthew Castillo and his wife and others doing positive things. You won't share that. But you will share a video of our youth literally destroying each other. We don't need the white man to destroy us anymore because we're doing exactly what he used to do. He used to take pictures of us being lynched and make postcards out of it. This is what they used to do. All you got to do is get the book Without Sanctuary or 100 Years of Lynching by Ralph Ginsberg. They used to make postcards of lynchings and sell it. Man, woman, or child, or both, and make postcards out of it. Now we untook it to a whole new level. World Starr Hip Hop and us recording Facebook Live videos of us fighting each other. Well, hell, just the other day, they made a Facebook Live video of a sister being raped in a club in Atlanta called Opera Nightclub. And a sister by the name of Jasmine Elin was raped on Facebook Live. And people stood there and watched it on Facebook Live and in person. Someone recorded this and people saw it. People saw it and they did nothing. This sister was literally raped. I don't want to hear nothing about she was married, she was drunk. Who deserves that? And on December 30th of 2018, the Hour Power by yours truly did a video called Date Rape Drugs. And I even named the same drug that this sister was used to be raped. It's called Special K. I'ma say it again. On December the 30th, 3 weeks before this happened, I did a Facebook Live lecture called Date Rape Drugs. And I named the drug Special K. And that is the drug that was used to rape this sister. Within 15 seconds, she was almost out of it. And this man bent her over and raped her on the floor with this drug, Special K. It kicks in less than 15 minutes. And she was out of it, but was being raped. And she was saying, help me, stop. And no one helped her. They stood there and watched it. They watched it. I said it before, and I'm going to keep on repeating it. As long as I have the energy to do it. Going back to the movie, Get Out, with Walter or Grandpa, whatever his name is. And Chris came up to him and said, yeah, I've seen you around. I'm just introducing myself to you. My name is Chris. He said, I know who you are. He said, you looked a little woozy last night. Are you okay? Chris said, yeah, someone must have slipped something in my drink. I don't know what happened to me. So as Chris is putting two and two together, and the man knew that he was at a killing ground because he was a victim, but he said nothing to warn him that he was getting ready to be set up for the kill. And he said, well, let me get on back to work now and mind my own business. Let me get on back to work now and mind my own business. Didn't warn him that he was being set up for the kill. This is a small microcosm of what's going on nationwide with black people. Via what happened to our sister, Jasmine Elin. I hope she gets counseling and help. That sister's been traumatized. Let me get on back to work now and mind my own business. Never mind that I see a sister who could be literally my sister, my auntie, my mom, or just a sister. She's being raped on a dance floor right in front of me. I'm not going to step in. I'm not going to say anything. Let me get on back to work now. Or in their case, let me get on back to dancing now. Let me get on back to getting my groove on now. Let me get on back to drinking my drink now. Let me get on back to talking to my boys now. Let me get on back to talking to my girls now. And mind my own business. That's what's going on in our community. Knowing someone is literally being set up for the kill. And because you don't have enough testicular fortitude or whatever you call it, you just get on back to whatever you're doing and you let someone be thrown to the wolves. You're going to be called to account for that. Do you think the story in the Bible of the Good Samaritan is there just to be read? Or is it something that God is calling us to do when we see someone in need? You're supposed to do something. Something. Even if you don't got enough heart to step in, alert someone and say, hey, someone is in need. Is it just there for show? Or is God calling us to do something? See, a lot of us read these stories or these accounts in scriptures, but very few of us implement it. Shame on you. Shame on you. What has happened to us? Brothers and sisters fighting at a basketball game because we hate ourselves. But what really should be highlighted is the beautiful picture that they took inside of the game where York High basketball players and Harrisburg basketball players and the coaches, they took a picture together as a sign of unity. That's what should be highlighted. But the fighting afterward stole the show. But it still needs to be addressed because it shows how much we hate each other. And then this will probably be posted on World Starr Hip Hop along with the other ignorant fighting videos. For the love of God, especially adults, will you please, I'm pleading with you now, stop posting videos of our youth fighting each other and posting it from World Starr Hip Hop onto Facebook to further send our youth into these detrimental thoughts and hatred they already have for each other. You have nothing better to do. You can't find no videos that enlighten us. And you posting fighting videos from World Starr Hip Hop, and you're an adult, you're in your 30s or 40s, and you still doing this, maybe even in your 50s. I'm pleading with you. Please find something constructive to post other than videos from World Starr Hip Hop of youth fighting each other and destroying each other. They already in a decadent state. Don't aid them with their ignorance. Go to Our Power, Sharif Hamid. I got plenty videos in there. Post some of that. For the love of God. For the love of God. Finishing out, and I hate to finish out on a somber note, but we talk about things that many others don't want to talk about. Sister Tanya said we become cruel and desensitized. It's a crying shame. And Brother Matthew said the system has made it easy to visualize our own self-destruction. We can do better. Yes. And again, look up this book, The FBI War on Tupac and Black Leaders. It talks about what happened to many of our black leaders like Malcolm, Bob Marley, Jam Master Jay, and many others. It gives the real account of what happened to them. And it was written by a white man by the name of John Potash. And I actually had the pleasure of speaking to him many years ago via the radio in Durham, North Carolina. But this talks about what happened to our brother Martin Luther King. And earlier I talked about how he didn't die from some strange gunshot up in the sky that they were pointing at. A Memphis Police Department cop shot him from the first floor. And a cab driver went and reported it, and then he ended up dead. He was actually shot from the first floor, and then he was taken to St. Joseph's Hospital, and the surgical nurse by the name of Lua Shelby was working on him, and she was ordered out of the emergency room by Dr. Breen Bland and two men in suits. And they said, let that nigger die. And Dr. Breen Bland took a pillow and suffocated our brother. And they spit on him. That's how he died, via the book by William Pepper, the family attorney, called A Plot to Kill King. Finishing out, rest in peace to our young brother, Seven Bridges. Seven Bridges, a 10-year-old child who committed suicide at a school in Kentucky the other day because he was constantly being bullied. He killed himself. 10 years old. He had a medical condition where he had to walk around with a bag to catch his urine, and children would make fun of him. And he was constantly being bullied. And some of the reports even said that he was constantly called the N-word on a bus, on a school bus. It was so bad that his mother was trying to relocate him to another school because he was constantly being bullied because of his medical condition. And this poor child, this baby named Seven Bridges, I guess he couldn't take it anymore. And he killed himself. He committed suicide. Bullying is a serious, serious problem. It's at a pandemic level. Before I left Durham, North Carolina, that was actually my job. I was supposed to go from school to school, and I had books and curriculum that I followed that talked about bullying. That was my job before I left Durham, North Carolina. First, I used to do group counseling. I would get 5, 6 students that had behavior problems. It got so bad that I was following a certified curriculum called Second Steps. It was called Second Steps and Early Risers. That was the curriculum I was following, and I was trained in that curriculum to go to schools in Durham, North Carolina, to go in front of whole classrooms to talk about bullying. That's how serious it is. You got cyber bullying, where students bully each other via the internet. That's the new thing now. Snapchat, the whole 9. You got verbal bullying, physical bullying, cultural bullying. It's like 6, 7 different ways that you can bully someone. But the obvious bullying now is physical, verbal, and cyber bullying via the internet. Man, I'm making a plea to those here in York, PA, where I'm at now. I've been hearing about and seeing the work that the movement has been doing. Tanya Larry, Fred Walker, Tanya Morgan, Anu, Fred, and Ray. I hope I got everyone. Man, for the love of God, man, this ain't about us being in competition with one another and who can outtalk who. If you truly for lifting the mind, body, and soul of our people, man, we got to come together. I have access to almost any school in York. Northeastern School District, Red Lion, Southwestern, Dallastown, wherever. I've almost been in all them schools. And I have the authority, because I do counseling with youth, to go in any school district in this area, whether it's Dallastown, Northeastern, York, West York. I've been in almost all of them. But particularly the schools around here, I'm speaking to the members mostly of the movement, because they have taken up this issue. I don't know if that's what they're doing, because they do a lot. But what I'm saying is, I will go to schools in New York City and say something to them, because I've been in those schools, about them going in there to talk to the youth there about bullying, if they want to take on, or if anyone else wants to take on that task of talking to the youth. We just saw it. What you see somewhere else, it can happen to you or wherever you are. That's why I ain't bragging, but I gave the talk 3 weeks ago called Date Rape Drugs. And I even called out the drug name, Special K. And I said people are using this to rape women and men. And lo and behold, just a couple days ago at a club in Atlanta called The Opera, a sister by the name of Jasmine Elan was raped on Facebook Live. And the drug that was used was Special K. So whatever you see somewhere else, it could come to your front door or in your backyard. We already know bullying is out of control. This poor child, he is a child. A child. 10 years old, by the name of Seven Bridges. He had a medical condition, not his fault. And these children, I guess, bullied him so much that he killed himself, because he had a medical condition where he had to carry around a bag because he couldn't control his, it was a bowel disorder. Not his fault. And I heard and I read that they was even calling him the N-word. This is in Kentucky. He couldn't take it anymore, and he took his own life. You can look it up. It's on my Facebook page. Absolutely heart-wrenching. And I learned about it at a daycare here in York. I'm not going to name it. When I went in there, because whether you know it or not, there are children that need therapy. I actually go to daycares now to give therapy to children. But anyway, I went in this daycare, and the owner of this daycare was in tears. She said, Mr. Sharif, I need counseling and therapy. And I said, well, what's wrong? And she showed me this horrific story about 7 Bridges, that's his name, that was being bullied, and he couldn't take it no more, and he took his own life, 10 years old. And it's so eerie because if you look at the picture of this young man, he actually resembles my son, Naeem. Same glasses, same, I don't even want to talk about it, but he actually resembles my son. It was like a punch in the stomach on top of everything else that I'm going through. Ain't nothing but the grace of God that's given me strength to even deliver this message. Man, I'm no different than anyone else. I got problems and I'm going through stuff, but I'm just asking for those who believe in me, who follow me, to pray for me and my family, because we're up against it. But I'm going to try to hang in there. But that's the message tonight. Please share it. It's called Dropping Atomic Bombs. Quick review, then I'll be done. We talked about this book, FBI War on Tupac and Black Leaders, written by John Potash. He gives a 12-year study of many of our ancestors who were killed, targeted by the American government and CIA. Jimi Hendrix, Jam Master Jay, Geronimo Pratt, Harry Belafonte, Jamil Al-Amin, Bob Marley, Fred Hampton, Bobby Seale, Huey Newton, Mutulu Shakur, Afeni Shakur, Tupac Shakur, Malcolm X. But tonight we concentrated on what happened to Dr. Martin Luther King. He wasn't killed at no Lorraine Motel by some gunshot that came up top. That's a bunch of lies. A Memphis Police Department officer shot him from the first floor. Messy Jesse and Reverend Samuel Cowles rearranged his floor, his hotel room, to the second floor so they could have a clear shot at him. And a Memphis Police Department officer shot him via the autopsy. Shows that he had gunshot wounds in his neck and in his groin. How you get shot from somewhere on a roof by some man by the name of Earl Ray when you got gunshot wounds in your neck and in your groin? That means it came from the first floor. A cab driver saw it. He tried to report it and it killed him. Martin Luther King was still alive. They had all kind of CIA agents surrounding the joint, and they was doing the circle sign, just like they did with Malcolm, saying he's shot, but he was still alive. He was taken to St. Joseph's Hospital, and a nurse, a surgical nurse by the name of Lua Shelby, she was the head surgical nurse. They was working on Dr. King. And then Dr. Breen Bland and 2 men in suits, in dark suits, came in the emergency room, said, get the hell out of here. Let that nigger die. They all was rushed out. The nurse, Lua Shelby, stood at the door so she could see what was going on, but they couldn't see her. She said she heard them go, excuse me, all 3 of them, and they started spitting on Dr. King. And they said, you're going to die tonight. Dr. Breen Bland took out a pillow and suffocated Dr. King. It's in the book by Dr. King's family attorney by the name of William Pepper in his book, The Plot to Kill King, and he has 2 other books. One of them is named Orders to Kill. I believe that came out in 2003 or 2005. This is the family attorney by the name of William Pepper. He has it all in his book. They suffocated that man at St. Joseph's Hospital. And then Memphis gang member by the name of Atkins, Russell Atkins, told William Pepper that he was supposed to put the kill out on Dr. King. And he said, Dr. Breen Bland said, if you don't kill the nigger on the spot, make sure he don't go to any other hospital but St. Joseph's Hospital, where he was taken April the 4th, 1968, where he was suffocated by a pillow. He was alive at Lorraine Motel. That's how he died. Not no James Earl Ray pointing up there. That's a bunch of crap. And Reverend Samuel Cowles, in a speech, you can go to YouTube on Dick Gregory's page, may he rest in peace, called The Murder of MLK. And he shows on there this Reverend Samuel Cowles, who was with Dr. King on that second floor, said, I stepped to the side so they could have a clear shot. He slipped and said it. The speech is called He Slipped. But you can go to YouTube, The Murder of MLK, on Dick Gregory's page. And we also talked about World Starr hip hop. And we made a plea for people to please stop posting fighting videos of our youth on Facebook and YouTube and Snapchat. That channel was created by Satan himself. And if you Google it, it tells you that it is a channel, a website targeted for youth 18 to 25, mostly underprivileged youth who haven't hell, the creator of the website didn't even finish high school. This Lee did not. I don't even think he's living anymore. And it tells you it's created to target underprivileged youth. And it's has fighting videos on there. Please stop posting fighting videos of our youth on Facebook. We got plenty positive people doing plenty positive things that you can post. Please stop that. We talked about the York High and the Harrisburg game, how the youth were fighting after the game. My good brother Ed Rice said he had to run out of there for his life just to get to his car safe. But what's not being shown is the beautiful picture that York High and Harrisburg took inside the gym. Why they didn't have security outside the gym when they knew all these youth that was already out of control and posting what they were going to do on Facebook, I don't know. But we got to do something with our youth. Willie Lynch is still alive. And then finally, we talked about a plea that I'm making to whoever, but particularly here in York, to the movements, with our brothers and sisters. Man, we got to come together. They already been doing great work about bullying. What I'm saying is, with my access, I can go to almost any school around here. I've been to almost any school, not just York City School, Dallastown, Redline. I've been to them all. I can go to these schools, but particularly here in York City, and I can go to the administrators, the principal. I have a relationship with most of them. And I can go to mainly these middle schools because that's who my clients are. And I can go to them and say, bam, 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 will you let them come into the school to do seminars or whatever on bullying? I don't got to be there. My name don't got to be on it. I don't got to get credit for it. The Hour of Power don't got to get credit for it. As long as the work gets done and we can possibly save the life of our youth and the well-being of our youth. Children right now are being traumatized because they're being bullied in school. We just saw it. We saw the worst part of it. 7 Bridges, a 10-year-old child who had a medical condition, no fault of his own, and he had to walk around with this bag because he couldn't control his bowels. And children making fun of him, saying, you smell, you stink. And it's even reported they was calling him the N-word. And he couldn't take it anymore. And he took his own life the other day in Kentucky. It's posted on my page. Who's going to pay for that? It's going on in every school. That was my job before I left Durham, North Carolina. They actually switched my job description. That's how bad it was. And they gave me a raise. Yes, they did. And they said you are to go to these schools and give whole talks to the whole class on bullying. When my former job was just to work with children with behavior problems, 5, 6 of them in a school. Well, actually not 5, 6 of them, but my class would be 5 or 6, but I had 50 in the school. They changed my whole job description. That's how serious this is. We need to jump on this before there's another 7 Bridges right here in York. It's bound to happen. It's already happened. Man, salute to y'all who have been speaking out against bullying. I just don't have the time to do it, but I'll get behind those who are already doing it. If someone's already doing it, why do I need to do something separate? I mean, it's not monopolized. Anyone can speak on bullying, but I have certified curriculum to speak on it if I wanted to. But we have a whole group who's already doing it. But I'm willing to assist you and assist them so they can get into school and do it. And my name don't got to be nowhere on it. This ain't no some kind of plot so I can get credit for something. Because like I said, I already have certified curriculum to do it. I'm already a therapist. So if I wanted to do it, I'm already in the school. All I would have to do is go to the administrator. They've already offered it to me and say, I want to do a whole seminar on bullying. They'd be like, sure, Mr. Sharif, go. But why do that when a group of people who already have credibility in the community, it's more of them, and they could probably be more effective than me doing it? Why would I do that? I don't think there'd be anything wrong with it, but why would I do that? What is more effective, me or a group who's already doing it? I say B, the group that's already doing it, and whoever else. But they're the group that I know who has already spoke on this, meaning the movement with Anu, Sister Tanya Morgan, Fred, Ray, and Tanya. I believe they have another member, but I just can't remember that person's name. Please share this message. Dropping atomic bombs. And please pray for me and my family. And no matter what you hear, if you want to know something about me, I'm very accessible. Just call me, text me, or inbox me. No matter what you hear, believe in me and believe and trust in my character. I'm not perfect, but I'm doing the best I can to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. And we're going to try to get the Hour of Power back on Wednesday, Channel 16 Local Access TV, streaming live on Facebook next week. We've been having some technical difficulties, but I'm not going to let that stop me. Remember February 16th, the crowning moment of Black History Month. We're making a grand return to the Blacks and Wax Museum meeting at Bonnie Grimes Gym Saturday morning at 10:30. And then we're going to move out to the Blacks and Wax Museum down in Baltimore. And I'm already have donations where we can sponsor a couple children. I'll leave you in peace as I came. Assalamu alaikum.